Okay, back to video number 3, in which we're going to focus on stage 2, or the assessment area, which is where you'll put your assessment designs in place. One thing I wanted to show you, though, you notice on the right-hand side, I'll see if I can move my screen here a little bit, it gives me a unit summary. As I build the unit, it allows me to see what standards I put in place, what G21 impacts have been selected in stage 1 in the prior stage, what transfer goals, enduring understandings, and so on. So I always have that view in mind as I'm designing elements of my unit, whether it's assessments, learning experiences, etc. So I simply clicked on stage 2 assessments on the left-hand bar, and I will now go to add an assessment, and it will come up just like with the starting a unit. It came up with a simple header box where I can put in the basic information for the unit. So sample performance task, we'll say start and end date again, and this is not meant to make anything overly complex. It's just so that we can calendar and sequence the elements to make things easier for kids. And then this assessment, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to click on create task. Once I do so, it provides me with some other areas. So evaluation criteria, that's where I may describe in more detail the task and what I'm looking for that task. And then I have an area where I can look at unit goal alignment. So the first thing I'm going to do is standards, okay? Now, again, if you go into it right now, what you'll see is that the system is pulling everything in, all the strands from the Mathematics Common Core standard. That's because we need to do the alignment, and once we get all the standards from different areas in, we'll be able to do so. But what I'd like to do, let me just say add more standards. I'll just do the same thing to make it work here. And again, this won't be a lasting issue for you. It's just where we are in terms of getting your standards, aligning them with subject areas and grade levels. And I'll do the same thing. I'll select the Math 8 standards. Now I click on here, and it gives me those standards as we saw them before. Now what you'll notice is the ones that I've selected in stage 1 are highlighted in green. Okay, the ones that I haven't selected are not. And that's so that I can see what I did choose as being a common goal for the whole unit, so that I can make sure that I'm building them into my assessments and addressing them and aligning my assessment pieces with it. So I'm just going to click on a couple of these for now. And now I've aligned those standards with this assessment. You'll see a box here that pops up when I collect it called self-assessment. Don't worry about that now, but that's for future development that we've talked about with Patrice and Charity, where we want to be able to allow students through their calendar to be able to self-assess elements that we just select, that we would like kids to reflect on and self-assess. So don't worry about that for now, but that's what this button is when it pops up a little bit. Now the same thing will happen when I do G21 Impacts. I click on it, I go here, you'll see innovation is an area that I selected in stage 1, but perhaps in this one, I will also want to be able to do, resilience and grit, because it's a really tough transfer task and kids are going to need to access their resilience in order to be able to be successful with the task. This is basically grafting, where I brought these things alongside the academic goals for the assessment, and I've indicated them so that I can give feedback on them. And down below, later on, you'll have the transfer goals, enduring understandings, essential questions, all of those pieces when you finally, when we get down to what it is you want in a concise way, that you can align with the assessment as well. Okay, so all of that is there. All of it is done. When I do this, I've basically saved the assessment, and I've now got things in order. And if I click away from here, you'll see it shows the assessment that I just did here, and it shows that I can edit it, I can delete it, and I can publish it. And the publishing thing is important, and I want to go through that in the next video to help you understand how we can make these things live so that they can be seen in feedback in your teacher hub, etc. Okay, back in a few.